Hey there and welcome to After Work. My name is Valentine, and in this channel we talk about various data science topics that are important when you're starting out your data science career. If such topics interest you, be sure to subscribe to this channel. So today we're going to be talking about good data science practices when it comes to business. We are going to talk about basically key habits that are important that will help you attain success when it comes to working on any data science projects pertaining to business. So let's get started. So the first good practice when it comes to working on data science projects would be to involve key stakeholders at the very beginning, and this will ensure that you are able to have those key considerations when it comes to working on a project. Most of the times you might realize that based on maybe just some stories that you might hear from other persons who undertake projects in the data science field, when you lose alignment between the technical team and the business team, in most cases you won't have the product that's being developed by the business team end up serving the business as it should. So majorly this best practice in terms of involving key stakeholders at the very beginning, who might be business persons, data managers, etc., would actually ensure that your product or the project that you're working on would be aligned to the business needs, and therefore it brings some sort of value. All right, so the second best practice is establishing a workflow. By a workflow, it can be any sort of workflow. It could be a set of steps that you would undertake whenever it comes to solving for any sort of data science project. And this might involve using something of like a framework or methodology that's normally used for handling or tackling data science project. It could be possibly through the use of a tool like CrispDM. It could be your own methodology. Could be that whenever you work on projects pertaining to data science, you follow a certain number of steps. Like, for example, you start with defining the business problem, being able to collect the relevant data, being able to perform data exploration, data cleaning. When you establish a workflow, it ensures that every time that you're working on a project, you have a structured approach that is scientifically acceptable, and at the same time it helps you not to spend a lot of time on designing a methodology for whatever or an approach or framework for whatever project that you're undertaking. Of course, all different projects will be different. All projects will be different. Many projects will be different when it comes to data science. But when it comes to the approach or the workflow that you're going to be taking, it might just be something that's quite similar for all the projects. And if a project, before even working on a project, you might also want to just review the workflow that you used to ensure that it's much more aligned, and it does not, and that actually helps you not to start from scratch when developing that particular workflow. So that is just a best practice, so that you do not start from scratch, and also you tend to improve the process that you take when it comes to solving for data science projects over a long period of time. The third good data science practice is collaborating with team members. What this will allow you to do is to be able to get sorts of different perspectives on how you would have approached a particular problem while you were solving for it, and the outcome of that will be an enriched product that would be beneficial to a particular business. So it would allow you to collaborate with team members, whether it could be not only team members but also other stakeholders who are also involved in that whole process. So it could be meetings regularly, and in those meetings you could discuss the processes that you would take to solve for the problem. You could also discuss about the tools. You could even discuss about the project itself in general. All right, so the fourth data science good practice that you ought to adopt whenever it comes to working on problems would be being able to use the right tools. So each and every project should be different in its own nature. Even if projects are similar and you might be tempted to use the same tools, it's usually of value to read about other tools which would potentially help you to solve for the same problem. Normally, because tools tend to evolve, a tool that you might think would not be of benefit to your project might actually now have an aspect that would enrich your project or your analysis. So using the right tools which would be the best practice, but in this case it would be more of exploring other tools that would also be able to help you achieve the final outcome. When it comes to data science projects, normally what really matters is the outcome or the final deliverable that you're going to be having, whether it's a model or whether it's basic descriptive report analysis. What most stakeholders is what they would want to see from a project is basically that deliverable and how that can bring value to the business. And if you use the right tools, you will be able to arrive at that particular deliverable that would be able to communicate key insights to key business stakeholders. So being able to do that would effectively help you out. So just to give you an example still about using the right tools, if you're developing, if you're writing an article for a particular online platform, you might decide to use something like, when it comes to analysis, you might use Python to wrangle data, merge, and do all of that in terms of the analysis and come up with just key insights. And as a way of communication, you might decide to use a library like Matplotlib or Seaborn. But if you tend to look out for other tools that might come in handy for the job that you are doing, which is possibly now in this case the case, which would be now creating an article, you might realize that the other tools like maybe Plotly.js that brings in a whole dimension of interactivity when it comes to communicating key insights, and that would actually enrich your deliverable, which would be an article that would be posted on the web, and it would even give users the ability to explore further your article way beyond what you had actually developed it to. So that's just an example of what you can be able to do in terms of best practices when it comes to business. So those are the 4 key best practices when it comes to working on business projects. And if you have any other key ideas on what you think would be a key best or good data science practice when it comes to working on business, be sure to leave that in the comment section. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so that other persons who might also be interested in the same video or topic can get recommended by YouTube. And if you would want to be informed of future videos, be sure to subscribe, and see you in the next video.